Okay, I was just going about my peaceful day when all of a sudden, from downtown, Serra of the Lake hits us with a two-time back-to-back instigation. Etheria restart drama, and Sis brought receipts. Let's take a look at this video brought about by TimaeuSS over here.
Hey everyone, TimaeuSS here. Welcome to another Etheria restart video, and today we are going to talk about what is possibly the first controversy for the game, because yes, that's right, as of the making of this video, this feedback thread that is I would say under 24 hours or even under 12 hours since its inception has already garnered over 3,400
Damn!
Discord, and this of course is stemming from the Dupes system and mainly how it works in RTA, the real-time arena. So we'll talk about it today, and also
a huge day for the unemployed. A huge day for if you're a W day for the unemployed. W.
we'll go over the game producer's direct feedback, because yes, he's very active in the community, and we definitely will hear directly from the devs as well. Now, personally for me, I am a huge Etheria restart fan. You know, I hosted the MiCE Cup, and I've been looking for this game ever since the Epic 7 days, basically, and I want this game to succeed. So let's talk about how this is going to affect the community and what I think we should expect in the upcoming developers feedback or the launch. But I'm going to give you a little bit of a background, okay? So for those of you guys that don't know, in Etheria Restart, of course, there's also a dupe system, as is with many other games, where if you pull multiple copies of the characters, you can apply increased effects such as stat increases, damage reduction, damage increase to the character by using your dupes to upgrade.
Okay, comparatively speaking, if you want to talk about dupes, they are still like very negligible if you want to compare it to like the big boys recently, right? Like E1 here, E1 Mighty, E2 Casuals, right? Like those literally like fundamentally change like a lot of the ways you play. They deal like what 50, 60, 70% more damage. A lot of these at the end of the day, they're still sort of like base stats. But that being said though, in PvP gacha games, right? Sometimes all you need is just base stats. I'm not sure if you, if my viewers watching this video, you guys play PvP gachas. When was the last time you got outsped by 1 speed? Or you let go of your strongest DPS hit, attack up, defense up, everything, and the enemy unit live with like 100 HP because they have SSS imprints on the Baranga's defense up. So like, I think for PvP, even though the changes, they are technically a lot more like nuanced, right? Less impactful. I would say for PvP, it definitely would be you know,
right? And a lot of people consider this as a pay-to-win mechanic, and a lot of the other games have mechanics of characters hidden behind the dupe system. That's not the case in Etheria. So when this whole debacle came about was during the Hyper Talk, the initial developers live stream that took place before the closed beta test, the final one. They said that the game definitely wants to cater towards the esports aspect, and of course favor the general public, which I would say most people are either free-to-play friendly or they are going to be small spenders, right? So in Etheria, they're saying that the dupes are not going to make a big difference, or they don't matter. But the thing is that it doesn't matter because there are no additional mechanics hidden behind the dupe system. However, we took it as, you know, dupes don't matter, so the stats won't even get applied in RTA. Now, whether this be a huge server-wide, global-wide Mandela effect, we have to see. But essentially, we have tested it. And of course, the dupe system, or rather the stats from the dupes, they are being applied across all game modes, including RTA. So you can see, going over, for example, Tiamat, one of the most popular characters, this means that you get a basic attack, defense, and HP boost by 5% with the first dupe, a healing received increased by 10% with the second dupe, another attack, defense, and HP boost, as well as the fourth dupe giving you a crit rate buff on top of the final dupe, which I think is, of course,
this is the most impactful one.
Strongest one, and every character gets this. A 10% flat damage dealt increase buff, as well as a decreased damage taken, so basically a damage reduction. So
I feel like if I want to compare this with, like, okay, I'm always gonna end up comparing this with Epic 7 just because I see so much similarities between them. It's just like I feel like this specific dude right here it's still is like, okay, yeah, it's just 10%, right? But for like RTA, and since this is like most units like their final dupe, plus 10% minus 10% is often at times gonna be extremely dependent on like the outcome of like your damage output as well as what your damage you're going to be receiving. And the fact that every single unit has this, it means there's somebody that has the exact same team, they'll pretty much just wipe you. Okay, to be fair, RTA you will never have the same team because RTA you can only pick let's say one unit at one time. But if the entire team has access to this compared to a unit that doesn't, it's a lot more of an uphill battle compared to somebody that does have this, right? So for example, in E7, right, the dupes are also something very similar because E7 also have stat-based dupes. Except for E7, the dupes are usually a singular stat. So what I mean by singular stat is, so for example, maybe some of your supports or like your sustains, maybe they have like effectiveness or like effect resistance, right? Or like HP or like defense. And your DPS, you have like attack, maybe some of them like crit rate. But it's like that one singular stat for that one singular unit. And then different units will see the different little distribution based on what they actually do in the game. Which I think is a little bit better in that sense because it's not just a straight up, okay, here's 10% less damage and 10% more damage, and you're basically gonna have this for every single unit in a tier restart. So yeah, let's continue.
So yeah, it's not insignificant, but it will definitely be felt during the RTA or some of the top arena showcases. Now, we have already seen that the developers...
Wait, so to clarify this real quick, right? Did dupes work in CBT like the entire time? And then people just thought that it did not work? Or did dupes not work in CBT, but now it's gonna work in the live server? So it actually already worked in CBT. It didn't work in CBT 1. Okay, so take a look at this message, right? What they really meant was there's no extra mechanics in dupes, so the dupes won't break RTA. I asked the game producer directly about this and he confirmed with me that dupes will work in all aspects of the game, but a lot of content creators ran with the dupes don't work in RTA a little bit too far and it is now effect. Serra, are you one of those content? Okay, anyways. The dev team is currently working on a proper announcement on their Discord about this so that they won't cause mass chaos in the community over there due to this false expectation. So dupes always worked in Etheria restart, but a false narrative was spun for this CBT, which already ended, into dupes don't work. I guess the main difference is basically, does it work and does it matter? And I think that's a huge fucking difference, by the way. Like if you say dupes don't matter, right? It doesn't matter because you have skill issue, right? You have no speed, no bitches, no RNG or whatever. It doesn't matter because you still win or lose the game. Versus, does it actually work? As in, does the buffs actually get applied? I think these are huge differences. So yeah.
They've spoken to
Baka player chat. Insane cat. The problem stems from the fact that Pro League has dupes disabled, but the way to get there, RTA dupes are enabled. Oh, as in the Etheria restart World Cup would remove dupes completely, but in the game itself right now, like if you play RTA on a daily basis, it will actually matter. Okay.
Sean. And of course, the comment was that, you know what, this wasn't clarified properly, so they're working on making a proper announcement in order to essentially address this issue. And also, the game producer himself came into the thread and said that he asked the community manager to make this thread and obtain feedback, and of course, he's gonna...
Okay, I think this is a pretty... It shows that they're not trying to be like, you know, go fuck yourself. Right? I feel like it does show that, you know, they're trying to see and like how can we like get better from like where this situation is currently doing something, because it's definitely not really from like they put off like a snake move, because it was already implemented in CBD2, but it's just that there was this false narrative that okay, it doesn't work, but actually it does work. Whether or not the competition thing, the whole whether qualifying to the RTA regionals and all that kind of stuff, I feel like those things are just not as impactful as to like the daily players actually playing this game, basically the general player population.
An answer before the official launch on how we will approach this. So I would say it's a very difficult place to be because personally, I think that a lot of the players, they definitely do not want to see the dupe system in action in RTA. They don't mind if it's in, you know, PvE or even the AI arena, but in RTA, a lot of the players got into the game.
Oh hell no! By the way, this is a lie. Dupes don't matter in PvE, bro. Just look at HSR. Literally look at any of the big gacha games right now. HSR, Zenless, Wuthering Waves, Genshin Impact. Bro, people are like dying over islands, bro. Oh my god, you have an E1 Trippy, you have a signature like, bro, it literally matters so much. It's crazy, right? So I swear, these kind of stuff, they matter everywhere. Not just PvP. It literally matters everywhere. As long as there is a base of comparison between this unit is this much stronger by the inclusion of a duplicate, people are gonna bitch about it. So it's just gonna be
because they feel like, you know what, if I'm a free-to-play player, I just get a copy of this, and if I get lucky with the gears, I can compete at the same level as the other mega whales, right? And my Tiamat is no different than your Tiamat. So yeah, I totally understand that. As a whale myself, all right, who's already spent a couple of thousand on the game, and I'm probably gonna do more because I absolutely love the game. I think that as a whale, it's totally okay to remove the dupe system. I do not mind it at all because, first of all, with the rate up banner and how the banner system works, all of the whales will most likely be pulling on the standard banner, okay, because it has a chance comparison cost value wise in comparison to the other banners to get light and darkness units, which are really strong. So you pretty much never want to pull on the light and darkness banner unless you're using the tickets that are super rare. But most of the time, if you want, especially at the start, as
the Timaeus E6, everyone in their moms, holy shit,
whales, you'll be pulling on the standard banner, which means that yes, the standard banner, you are gonna go for width instead of depth, so you're not gonna potentially get a lot of dupes for a lot of characters. And the main difference between whales as well as free-to-play players is going to be the stamina refresh, because whales, I'm going to say it right now, every single day they are going to at least max refresh their stamina, right? And that is one upkeep that a free...
I've played these games before. It's gonna be the classic gear gap, bruh. Ooh, you have 50 less speed than me? Go fuck yourself, little bro. Ooh, your shit has 200% less attack. Like, yep, classic.
Free-to-play player most likely will not be able to do. So there is going to be a gear gap. Now, the good part about Etheria Restart is that there's no
love gear
stamina.
I love gear gap.
For example, in
Epic
Epic 7, you can refill.
Because the thing is, if you win against the guy that has gear gap, you get to laugh at them. You get to wahaha them, right? And then if you lose to a guy that has better gears, there's nothing for them to win. You know, okay, yeah, so what, you won because you spent $10,000 swiping, right? It doesn't matter. But if I still win you as somebody that has gear gap, bro, I'm gonna spam emotes all day, every day, man.
Stop, right? You run the macro and refill non-stop, and you can spend 1,000 every single month, and you'll be so much ahead in comparison because you just never run out of stamina. You just keep buying more. But for Etheria Restart, you're capped at 10 per day. All right, so that is the same. Doesn't matter if you're free-to-play player or a mega whale, you're capped. You are capped. So which means that there's actually a better playing ground, or in terms of power level, because everyone will be meeting the same bottleneck in that sense. And even a free-to-player going, for the first 4 or 10 days max refresh is not bad in my honest opinion, because once that's done, you just sit
as a free-to-play. I'm not sure if I would do that.
Stages,
me personally.
So with that said, as a whale, you know what? If I already am going to get a stamina advantage in terms of farming and getting the best gear, that will be essentially providing a stat advantage over the free-to-play players, right?
Absolutely.
But it's almost, in analogy version, it's like a marathon. I'll essentially get to the finishing line a bit sooner, but the free-to-play players, they will eventually catch up with gears, and then, for example, my Tiamat, like I always say, is going to look like your Tiamat, even if you're free to play. But with the dupe system, it's a bit harder, and even though this game does have a shop where you can buy dupes, you can see that in the exchange shop, you're going to buy dupes from currencies, and there's also the unit shop that allows you to get some items as well on top of pulls. I still think that, having the dupe system, if the selling point is going to be, hey, I'm gonna be as free-to-play friendly as I'd like in this game, and let the free-to-play players really enjoy, the one copy is all you need message behind it. As a whale, I don't mind. You can turn the dupe off, and
I feel like at the end of the day, this whole topic of free-to-play in a PvP game, it's almost like an, what's the word? Is it oxymoron? You are stuck in this position where you can neither go forward or go backwards, right? So for example, right, if you wanted to play in a PvP gacha game, as a free-to-play, I think it should be very fair to say you should just expect yourself to get gear gapped, get money gapped, get wallet gapped. Because that's literally what you sign up for. You know that people are going to spend $1,000 and they're going to absolutely shit all over you as a free-to-play. And it is what it is. And I wouldn't say that is the wrong expectation to have. At least if you already know that if you want to be a free-to-play and you still want to play a PvP gacha game, these will be your competitions. Because people will spend money and it is what it is. But on the flip side, if you want to say that you want to use a free-to-play account and you want to try out this kind of like PvP gacha games and make it like a free-to-play friendly experience for all the free-to-plays, it technically could also work, because the thing is, if you were to fight not against the whales, which you have like 6 dupes and like max gear, you will technically be fighting alongside your other free-to-plays. Because not everybody in this game is going to whale, right? Not everybody in this game is going to max out every single unit on day one. There will also be other free-to-plays that still play this game without spending money. And these very same free-to-play players, they will still play in arena just like you. But this is where the issue becomes, because at a certain point, I think I can speak for a lot of the gamers, especially for people that actually watch streams. Because if you guys watch like streams or like social media content related to like a video game, you're probably not casual, right? You're probably not the guy that just logs in 10 minutes and just log out. You'll probably give a damn about like meta and min-max, because you're literally watching this video right now. I would say that this reaches a very weird pace, because as a free-to-play, no matter how much you are gonna like improve yourself, especially at the launch of this game, right? Unless you're like exceptionally fucking lucky, exceptionally fucking talented, whichever one of these two, either super good at the game or super lucky at the game, you are eventually gonna reach a point where the same amount of effort that you have spent to beat other free-to-play players, it will not equate to the same amount of results if you want to fight against whale players. Because that's what they paid for, right? They paid for the gears, they paid for the dupes, they paid so that they can have the progression and reach the very, very top. Because whales that spend money on this game, they're not spending money to destroy free-to-plays. I mean, correct me, unless the whales are like they're smurfs, right? They just want to stay in bronze and just shit on like bronze people for fun. But most people that actually spend like thousands and thousands of dollars in their PP gachas, I would say they're all trying to reach the very, very top. And that's where the whales will compete within themselves. So as a free-to-play, for example, once you reach the sort of like a seeding, right? Where this is where you are gonna be roughly around, especially at the start of the game, where there are like no multiple resources, multiple teams. The limitation on your account as a resource is very, very high. Because the game just launched and people that will just go all in, and the gap is like super, super big. But if you play a PvP gacha like long term, I'm talking about like years, like 2, 3, 4 years, eventually you're gonna realize that all of those progression that they will spend on at the start, they don't really matter anymore, because they already maxed out that set unit, right? Like the difference is just basically how fast you max out this. So for example, right, if a whale were to max out this Ting Win over here, right, if they max this out day one with like best and sort of relics day one or maybe week one, free-to-plays that want to have this good of a unit, they can still get there, except it's probably gonna take them months or maybe even years to reach that quality. But the thing is, the whale already peaked, right? They already peaked at this category, especially at the very start of the game. And that's where the gap will slowly start to shrink, right? It will slowly start to shrink. Of course, whenever a new unit comes out, especially brand new MLs, meta-breaking unit comes out, the whole shebang is going to resume all over again, because the whales will always have the day one advantage. They'll slam all in, get max, do best in slot relics. And then free-to-plays, they always have to play catch-up, right? They always have to play catch-up. So I think I'll leave it up to you guys as a viewer to decide for yourself if not really like whether or not you should stay free to play or not free to play, but do you think you signed up to a PvP gacha expecting the right things? Because if you're expecting as a free to play, okay, I'm gonna be not spending a single cent and I'm gonna be like rank 1 and I'm gonna be like the top of the very, very best and just beat every single one of the whale, I'm not saying that it's impossible, but just know that you are gonna face a lot of these kind of gear gaps, dupe gaps, and it's literally part of the game. So yeah, that's pretty much it.
I think that's totally fine with me. Now, other people who are much bigger spenders might have something else to say, but for me, I'll just be spending to max refill the stamina and making sure that I have many characters instead of dupes on certain units.
Damn.
But let me know your thoughts, because I think RTA, you know, it's completely okay to turn off the dupes, because it's more exciting. It's way more exciting to be able to fight against players.
Oh my God, is that box, dude? I just saw box.
You know what? Just a $10 per month spender, but they have grinded so hard, and they are putting on some insane gear because they got lucky on the roads, and they are putting up a good showing, a good fight in the real-time arena.
Yo, I'm gonna give it about, even if they remove dupes or they keep dupes in the RTA, right? It's not like the complaints will go away. Because like right now the complaints, the problem arising from this whole dupe thing, right, is basically the fundamental issue of pay to win. A whale can pay to win with dupes, and therefore as a free-to-play player, it will feel worse to compete in this RTA environments when previously they thought that dupes didn't matter. But the thing is, whether or not this dupe will exist, as a free-to-play, you will still, I'm pretty sure, complain and feel the pay-to-win gap because, like TimaeuSS mentioned just now, it's not really just so the dupes, but it's like your relic quality, alright? Your actual stats for the unit itself. And those things, especially when we'll slam max refresh since day one, they will gap you regardless. So whether or not there is a dupe in this system for RTA, free-to-plays that will complain about this being pay to win, they will still complain about the RTA being pay to win in the first place, because if they're gonna be up against a whale with insanely strong relics, they're gonna say pay to win. Which is true. It is pay to win. It is a gap.
I'm all for that. I'm all for that, especially with the EWS that the game is planning to have. You know, if we do have the dupes disabled, it just makes the things, the fights a lot more entertaining, in my opinion. So we'll have to see. Again, the dev said that we will be getting messages and feedbacks on what is coming up next. Whether or not we do have the dupes disabled or enabled in RTA, I will of course make a video and report to you guys on the outcome. Personally, like I've said, I don't mind it too much either way, because I'm in the spenders group. But as a free-to-play player or a small spender, let me know your thoughts on this matter, and if you would like the dupe system to be, of course, played out in real-time arena. Now, one real interesting suggestion that I've heard, thanks Vulcan,
how to do it
is that we can have an on and off season. Essentially what that means is that during the on or the main season, you can have the dupe system apply, and then during the off season, you can turn it off for everyone to have some fun. Now, Epic 7 does, I believe, have an on and off.
Okay, why might as well just make it like a brand new mode, right? Like they might as well just make it like an unranked mode, and then you can just, anything just goes there. You know, everybody is E0 S0, and they just slam
season in their RTA. So I wonder if that will be something we can potentially explore. Anyhow, thank you so much once again for watching this video. Okay. It's very interesting.
W video from TimaeuSS. Alright, before we end off this video, since Serra has provided the receipts, let's take a look at what Serra has to say over here. Based on a recent comment from a CC, people are wondering if dupes do or don't work at RTA. Clearly, everyone was under the impression they do not work, and this was never corrected for months, despite it being a daily repeatable occurrence phrase in the Discord. So please, it would be nice to get some clarification. Also, I open up this thread so people aren't spamming general too much. I have attached the image of people wondering about, and this thread is the place for people to voice their concern, blah 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 blah. Okay, holy shit. Okay, so this is the official announcements from the game developer, right? Devs listen, devs typing, devs discording. Hi everyone. Please note that we are aware of the ongoing concerns regarding dupes working in RTA. Our official team has always stated that dupes would have a minor impact in RTA, as seen from our direct, that well-optimized free-to-plays would still be able to compete against whales with good strategy, team buildings, drafting, countering, etc. While we do... oh, by the way, this is... okay, I probably need to talk about this a little bit more, especially when I play a little more Epic 7. Drafting, in my opinion, is the most important thing in like this kind of like turn-based PvP gacha games. You can literally end or lose in the draft itself before you even see the units. Like, it doesn't really matter how strong the units are. If you out-drafted your opponent, which is basically free, by the way, you can't pay to win the draft. If you out-draft your opponent, you can win. Very, very straight. You can straight up just win just by out-drafting. And I think that this will have nothing to do with the pay-to-win aspect. It is only purely to do with whether or not the player actually spends enough time to go ahead and research the matchups and everything. So very, very important. Okay, but we do understand how this is suddenly grew into what it is now. We've always marked the game as free-to-play friendly. Narrative definitely have got off hand. Our team hasn't realized how many people thought it would be absolute zero stat increase. A lot of people in the comment have been saying free-to-play friendly dupes won't make a difference, but for a long time before blah 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 blah. So without this will be a general understanding. I do see how there's a massive influx of new players in the latest beta test, and other communities where misinformation was being spread as fact, but please understand it was never intended for this narrative to be pushed, and it snowballed quickly without being realized. During the beta, I did see many players complaining about getting dupes, but I thought it was because of a stat increase for 1 or 2 dupes were minimal, and players needed other units for team variety to progress out of the small stat increase. In hindsight, as a community manager, I should have recognized this, and was also because many of the new players thought dupes were entirely used in RTA and made a statement clarifying. So, please know that we are actively monitoring the feedback. Our game director, Jack, and team will be responding in a few days with an official statement. The intention behind dupes was not to make it extremely unfair unlike other games in the genre they renown them, but also not make them feel entirely useless and discourage play from pooling. This was the ability to max SR units with dupes much faster than light dark units and create unique strategies during the different phases of the game's life cycle. The intention is to encourage an actively shifting meta within different groups and create results than something that has been stable every single phase, while giving free to players the ability to compete in very different ways. One thing I've noticed is that the confusion about the severity of the dupe stat increase, so I'll make sure that we clarify how it matters, whether it's being applied to the base stat or if it's a bonus applied after the group. Please be patient with our official response, blah 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 blah. Right? Okay, so that is gonna be the official response. I actually read through the entire thing in less than 30 seconds, but very good. And then we have this over here. Is the game free to play friendly or pay to win? Definitely free to play friendly. Reasons. Character dupes not only aren't impactful, they only give additional raw stats, but also in RTA, they are fully disabled. Oh, Pride win. Oh, we do have a bit of misinformation, not gonna lie. Yep, so this is not really the player's fault, by the way, because like even like Pride win has gotten the wrong image, right? So Serra basically searched dupes, Among Us dupes, and it turns out that this is in fact not true. They are actually enabled, at least from what we have seen so far. So that's pretty much it. My honest review of Honkai Killer Etheria Restart. A note on dupes: the stat bonuses are disabled for PvP. Yeah, so this narrative has been going around for quite a little bit. Okay, the reason it's a tricky gray area is because we didn't tell any content creator to spread dupes don't affect RTA, so the trail moderators are not the official style. There were a lot of stuff we've missed and doing Express Snowball, blah 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 blah, say they're already in a PP source features unit, blah 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 blah, heavily outweigh 10% attack gap. Okay, yep, very. I mean, understandably so, this is to a certain extent is true because this is assuming like both players, they drafted perfectly and they have like equal calibers in terms of the quality of the unit itself. That is to say like the relics, right? So if you take into these factors into consideration, like both of them, they know how to draft and they build the units right. It's not like a zero speed support or whatever. Then when these factors are into play, the dupes itself, the impact of the dupes itself, it wouldn't matter as much compared to everything else. So for example, if I were to give a ranking, right, to like how impactful is it like to win an RTA match, probably I'm guessing like 70% is drafting. Then between the relic as well as the dupes, maybe 20-10 or 10-20, depending on how it goes. But yeah, majority of whether or not you win is definitely not mainly just because of dupes, but it is still focused solely on drafting, which has been the case for every single turn-based PvP gacha games anyways, because drafting, they are basically the end all be all for all of these kind of team building, right? So that is pretty much it, chat. So that is pretty much it. Is this, what clip is this?
Think about the thing is very, how to say, the dupe system, right? Duplicates. So yeah. In Serra, you only need one and the 5 is different. You need 5, it's 5 times more expensive, right? So when you get 1, you get unlock the full mechanics.
Chris is so handsome, guys. Okay, anyways,
you only need the in-game free upgrade resource to upgrade the skills, and but the mechanics of the skills it's already there. You only get 1, it's enough. I think that's also a big decision, but we hope it will create a better experience for players in general.
I think it's oh wait.
Yeah, definitely. I think that is a pain point for a lot of players in gacha games, especially recently, where it's like, oh, if you want to like this, you can get this character, but if you want to play them the way they were intended to be played, you need to actually get 3 copies of them and their weapon.
Okay, in that scope, right, you need to get like the E2S1 and play the unit to that potential. I think if this was the comparison basis, then yes, because technically speaking, the dupes in this game, at the end of the day, it doesn't really change the way you play at all, right? Like for example, your Heinrich is still gonna be the exact same Heinrich, right? Your My Day is gonna be the exact same My Day. Your Bubbin, like all these units, they play the exact same minus the stat differences. So using this as the analogy over here and the comparison, I think it is pretty fair. So with that, we have come to the end of the Etheria restart dupe system. It's crazy. Word of the day is gonna be Dupes. Join Discord, join Twitter, all the best. I'll see you guys next time.